Welcome back to Skylab Gaming with your host, skylab-gaming krazian. And hey, we're back with the happiest game alive, Slime Rancher, in the third and final series of the Treasure Pod Adventures. This will be for the black/purple level 3 treasure pods. Now, as you can see, I am pretty much maxed out on energy and health from all the standard upgrades. I would highly suggest that you do the same because you will need maximum jetpack for a couple of these. Some of them are very, very tricky. But make sure you have the maximum upgrades that you can possibly get, and make sure that you have some kind of food or resource in your inventory because you never know when you're going to find a spare golden slime that's just happening along his way while we're on this little adventure. So let's go ahead and get to the pods. The first pod is a hop, skip, and a jump away from the ranch. If you head out back towards this way, and to jump over that little gap there, and that is where we originally got one of the first blue pods. You're going to want to head in that direction, boost out, and then look back this way. So boost on out, and boost over to this little alcove, and you'll find your very first black treasure pod. Go ahead and open this one up. And you're going to get some deep brine and some lava dust. Let's get to the next pod. The next pod you will find on the Ring Island, so go ahead and take the teleporter. It is on the other side of the overgrowth section of the ranch, and boost jump to this little center pillar and go past it, underneath this little alcove here, all the way through the cave. Like any good game, it's got treasure behind the caves. So go ahead and jump out here, keep on going. Watch out for these little rock slimes here. Keep on going all the way towards the back. And you should see a little bridge that looks something like this. Go all the way across and then look left, and you can kind of see that pod peeking out. You can either boost over here or go all the way around and you can kind of jump to it. There we go, didn't actually have to use any boost for that one. Go ahead and open this pod up, and you'll get the cute fashion pod. Fashion pods allow you to vac up fashionable accessories for your slimes. Shoot them on to slimes to totally shoot them on to slimes. There. All right, grammar is not working today. Let's get to the next pod. The next pod we'll find on the Mustache Island. So go ahead and take the teleporter that leads from the overgrowth section of your ranch, and we're going to head out towards the Slime Sea, kind of where that blue pod was located last. So go ahead and boost on over to that. You know, we're gonna go big today. We're gonna try to take it with the smallest amount of boost that we can, and we made it. I'm gonna let it recover a little bit. Don't be foolish. Take a break when you need to recover some of your energy. And boost your way up on this rock. And this is where that blue pod was last time. Now go ahead and boost on over again. And you can use that smaller island to skip over or just boost over the whole thing. Now you got a big amount of boost, so you should be able to boost to your heart's content. Go ahead and drop onto this teleporter here. And you'll get to the island. Ooh, ha ha, the island. I'm not really quite sure what the purpose of this island is or was, according to the story, except for that they got these cool statues that have mustaches on them. All right, let's open up this pod. And you get the handlebar fashion pod. Now we can put some mustaches on our slimes. Let's get to the next pod. I did want to show this pod real quick. This is not the one I actually planned on doing here, but that's all right. So if you can see in the distance over there, that's the teleporter. And if you aim yourself towards the moss blanket, kind of this way, you should find yourself on this little back spot here where you can find another secret pod. This one's kind of cool. If you open up this pod, you get the Smart Fashion pod. Now you can put glasses on your slimes to totally up their game. Let's get to the next pod. We're back in the moss blanket this time. Go ahead and head on up to this top section here on the right. You can stagger your way up these bushes in this little spire and hopefully boost yourself up and over to this tree. Yes, we made it. Sometimes you gotta hug that edge to actually get yourself to go over it. The boosting mechanic can be strange sometimes. Opening up this pod gets you the Dandy Fashion pod. allows you to put more accessories onto your slimes. This one's pretty fancy. Let's jump to the next pod. If you go about towards the middle of the next section and you look right, you should see this large log that lets you know that you're heading in the right direction. You'll see the sign for some of the feral slimes that spawn over there in that little passage. Take a right over there. Keep on going. And then behind this tree with the pink slime, what are you doing over here, pink slime? Get out of here. You'll find the next pod. Go ahead and open this one up. And you'll get some resources from it, 2 wild honey and 1 royal jelly. Onwards to the next pod we go. Now head on towards the back of the moss blanket and you'll be able to find the next pod. You'll see the mushroom forest, so you know that you're in the right area. Keep on waddling along here. And you should come to a little pond with a big old tree. Jump in the water, trust me, it's fine. And then you'll find the next pod right underneath the tree. Pretty sneaky pod. Opening this one reveals the jumbo shroom. Not a regular shroom or even a large one. No, something more. Something more. Let's jump to the next pod. If you take the other main path in the moss blanket, go ahead and go through this big log that leads to the back area. And take a left out of here. And then look left again underneath that giant log and you should see the next pod. You can jump down to this little path and then jump on over. Opening up this pod reveals the Shady Fashion Pod. Now you can put sunglasses onto those guys. One of my favorite, I really like these. It makes them look extra cool. Let's get to the next pod. Now we're going to be trying to get to that far kind of tall stump in the ocean. That is our objective here. So there are a couple different ways to do it, but I'll show you how to jump on over the hopefully easier way. This little stump that's in the middle of the area that has the Boom Hunter Largo spawning is where you want to aim. Hop up on this log here without falling. And then jump on over to this tree. And jump on over to this tree over here. There's a green pod there previously. Let your stamina recover a little bit. And you can hop on over to here. Keep on hopping on over. And you'll see these little mushrooms on this tree. That's what you want to aim for next. And then I found it easier to jump on the very top one so you can get the maximum amount of altitude possible. Quick tip in the game, anytime that you're trying to boost to something really high, you want to get the highest launch point that you possibly can. So even if you have to stagger yourself a little bit to get up by making these small jumps, it makes it a lot simpler to boost over to things like treasure pods, for instance. And you get the Amber Teleporter, a set of 2 teleporters that can be used to create your own quick travel link. Now we're going to link to the next pod. And the next pod is one that I accidentally opened a little bit earlier, but that's alright, we can still show you the location. Towards the very back of the moss blanket, you're going to find this section with these little mini islands. That's how you know that you're headed in the right direction once you see these bridges here. And the pod is right in this little gap down here. You can just drop down to it and pop it open and it gives you the red warp depot. Hopefully none of the other ones are already opened. I think it was just this one from a previous video. So let's get to the next treasure pod. Ah, I finally got it. Yes, finally. Haha, I finally got one on tape that I didn't somehow completely mess up. Yes, golden plord, we did it. All right, back to the treasure pods. The Indigo Quarry will be our next step in this treasure pod hunting adventure. And the first one is not very far from the entrance. Go ahead and take a left here. Past this Hexium formation, and you should see it right around the corner. Go ahead and boost jump to that one. Spin this pod open and you get the Hexium formation, a strange ore whose geometric array is consistent on even a molecular level. Very, very scientific. Onwards to the next pod we go. The next pod you'll find inside of the cave that's at the next area where the blue rock Gordo formerly was, or a teleporter if you have already bursted him. Take a left there behind this little spire structure. Stalactites, stalagmites, we'll get it eventually. Go ahead and open up this pod and get the Royal Fashion Pod. Now you can put crowns on your slimes. Very, very regal. Let's get on to the next pod. You'll find the next pod right outside of the volcanic cave. So go ahead and head on to the next section here. Jump up and over here. And don't actually go in the cave, take a left. And hug this high wall here. Keep on going along, keep on going along. And when you turn to your right after that little drop down, you'll find the next pod. Opening this one reveals some more rare resources, some indigonium and a strange diamond. Now, we keep on going with treasure pods. The next treasure pod you'll find on the Volcanic Island, so go ahead and take the teleporter that leads there from where the rock Gordo formerly was. And you're going to head on towards the back here. And once you're towards the back, go ahead and start climbing on up. And you can stagger your way up these formations. Yep, we can make it the next one. And you should be on the top here. Take a right, and you'll see a vault. Don't worry about that. Keep on going here. Past all these happy crystal slimes. And these barking chickens. And you should see a little broken bridge on the left side here. Boost across that gap. And you'll find the next black treasure pod, black and purple. Opening this one reveals the red teleporter, a set of 2 teleporters that can be used to create your own quick travel link. Quickly, to the next pod we go. Back in the Indigo Quarry, we can find the next pod. Go ahead and head on to the area where these ferals spawn. Should see a little sign. Watch out for them actually spawning. They're a little angry. They're a little hungry. Go ahead and head on towards the back here. And instead of going across this bridge, we're going to jump out and take a left. And keep on going all the way around this path and you'll find the next pod. Go ahead and open this one up. And you get the serious fashion pod. These are funny because it makes all slimes look really serious even when they're not. Quickly to the next pod. For this next pod, go ahead and head on back towards where those ferals actually spawn in the beginning, and you should be able to stagger your way up on these bridges here. Go across them and you should see the next pod in the distance. And you can boost on over. Push and glide to save a little energy if you're feeling extra nervous. And go ahead and open up this pod for the green warp depot, a set of 2 gadgets that allows you to remotely transfer resources between 2 points. Let's get to the next pod. For the next area, you will want to head towards the ancient ruins. Go ahead and head in towards the big first large room, and you'll find this double-walled area. Go ahead and lower the gate on that. Come into this next room and go up this ramp here. And on the top, you'll be in the area for the next pod. Go ahead and look towards your right here and boost off, and then boost back onto the ledge. And you'll find the next pod. Opening this one reveals some more resources. Some deep brine and some lava dust. Let's get to the next pod. You'll find the next treasure pod towards the middle of the ancient ruins. If you take the main path, on the left side is where that Boom Gordo formerly was, if you have already exploded him, and towards the right is where we want to go. With that hanging moss, go ahead and boost on over to that. And it's actually transparent, a very, very cool secret. Go ahead and open up this pod. And you get the Echo Net. Install this strange device in the ancient ruins to capture wandering echoes over time. So you can get all those cool echoes that you've been seeing everywhere and put them in your base. Like the blue echo here. Yeah. Alright. Towards the next pod. From the last pod, if you keep on going in that direction, you should be able to jump up on this wall right here. And then you can boost jump your way on over to this little spout. It's got a blue echo so that you know you're in the right spot. You want to jump to the higher one here. And then you're going to want to aim for that little structure over there. Make sure you have max boost. And push and glide your way on over to this one. And you'll find the next pod here. Go ahead and open this one up. And you get the crystal sconce. The light from these sconces appears to be endless, perhaps illuminating the past as much as the present. On to the next pod. The next pod can be found just a little bit of ways away. So if you actually jump on top of this pillar here, you can boost to the next section. And get to the very tip top here. And you'll find the next treasure pod in this little weird section here. This glow stick just hanging by, chilling. And when you open up this treasure pod, you get some indigonium. And this is going to be a diamond, I believe. It is. So we're going to make some room here, and then we're going to get to the next pod. If you keep on going from that pod, you can ride this little high wall up here, and you should see this little structure in the distance. It's at the end of the long broken up bridge section. Go ahead and boost on over to that. We'll push and glide our way on over. Land on this wall over here, and you can boost a little bit more to get on over. And find another glow stick chilling over here. Go ahead and open up this one, and you find the glow sticks. Though these luminescent devices are similar to other elements of the ruins, they're not nearly as old. I wonder if someone came along and was like, I need some light, using science. We're gonna science our way to the next pod. The final pod you can actually find right before the glass desert, so go ahead and go across this bridge here. And then keep on going. Hop up on this ledge here. Near the teleporter, don't actually take the teleporter, and you should see it off in the distance there. Go ahead and boost jump. And slowly drift on over to this one. Opening this pod reveals some more resources that I don't have space for, so we're going to make some space. And I'm going to head back to the lab now, deposit these, and then we'll hit the glass desert next. For this next section, you're going to head on over to the glass desert. Now, if we've learned anything by now, it's that treasure pods are sometimes hidden in very, very tricky places, as is this one. So once you get out of the teleporter, the main big teleporter, jump up here and take a right, and you're going to want to go all the way around this building here. Being pretty conservative with your boost. And then you should land on this little section here, and look at this. Look at this happy statue. And look at this. This happy statue that has a treasure pod in front of it. Go ahead and open up this one and get the berry teleporter. It's a set of 2 teleporters. That's purple. That's a pretty great color because the pods are purple. Let's get to the next one. For this next section, you're going to want to head on over to where the Dervish Gordo is located. So from that little main bridge area, hop on this little crystalline structure. And then you should be able to boost your way on over. Keep on boosting, and then boost your way around the right here. Give yourself a small break. Oh, and find yourself a lucky cat that you have nothing to shoot at. I love it. Can't suck him up. Just get out of my sight. All right, go ahead and jump on over here. Now this main section is what you're going to want to memorize because this is going to lead to a couple different pods and a couple different areas. So make sure you make your way up here first. From this middle section, go ahead and boost on back to where you were and try to get to this very top point. And then you should see this little high rise that's actually above the Dervish Gordo. Go ahead and head up on that ridge. Hopefully we can make it from, actually we're going to jump a little bit higher. Let's go to this little mini temple so that we can get a little bit higher. Like I said earlier, getting to the highest point you can before you start boosting is very effective. So kind of push and glide your way on over. And hopefully you have just enough to get to the next section. Once you get to this next section, you should be able to easily fly down to the pod down there. But first, we're going to head on back this way, because this one's a little more difficult to get. And go all the way to this top section here. And then keep on keeping on. And then as you look down, you should see it on the other side of this little cliff. Go ahead and open up this pod. And you get 3 gold plorts, something to add into the collection. Let's get to the next one. From there, you can actually head straight back across. Keep on going here. And keep on going back across. And then you can actually drop down to that pod that we saw last. All the way down. Makes you a little nervous about fall damage sometimes. Opening up this pod will reveal the Master Apiary, an apiary that collects the most resources, with a very high chance for rare resources, lasts 9 cycles. Let's get to the next pod. There's a squares temple on the right side after that section. Bring up the map so that you have a reference here. And this is where the next treasure pod will be. So, avoiding the dangerous fire here, should see a door in the distance if you haven't already opened it yet. You actually jump off the edge here, trust me, and lightly boost jump your way down, and it's under this little alcove here. Go ahead and open up this pod. And you find the Master Drill, a drill that unearths the most resources with a very high chance for rare resources. Let's get on to the next pod. Heading right out of the area that you were last in, you'll find yourself in this section right here. And there'll be a little sign for some ferals. That's how you know you're in the right place. Go ahead and head right into this little divot here, where a lot of fire slimes and some where a lot of the cactus fruits spawn. So this is a good area to get some of them, and the painted hens if you are so interested. Go ahead and head on towards the back here. Oh, and there's a little mosaic slime. I thought that was a gold slime by the sound. Sometimes they trick you. So you're going to want to boost out to the left here. I found it's a little bit easier to jump from this ledge because you can go all the way out and get max distance without losing too much elevation. So go ahead and boost jump on out. Keep on boosting your way around here. Be a little conservative because this one's pretty far. As you can see, I got max boost and just about barely made it. Go ahead and open up this pod. And you'll find the fiery glass sculpture, a beautiful glass sculpture from the glass desert that resembles frozen fire. Now, the next one is actually not too far, so let's go ahead and boost jump our way back on over here. Hopefully we have and we do have the elevation for this one. It's actually just a drop down. Go ahead and open up this pod. And you'll find some more golden plorts. And this box that I did not want. Yes, golden plorts. Onwards to the next pod. If you take a left from the main section, you'll end up on this little island here, and to the right is some ferals on the map for reference here. Now you can go ahead and head towards the slime sea here. The slime sea, sea of sand, I'm pretty sure it's the same name. Go ahead and jump onto the pillar here. And keep on boosting your way on up to the very topmost point you can go. If you can't get to the very top, that's all right. It just makes this next jump a little bit easier. Let your stamina recover a little bit. And jump. Jump for your life. Keep on boosting here. Keep on boosting over, and you should see some happy, sad little cactus. I'm not really sure what they are, but go ahead and open up this pod. And you'll get the palm tree. A tropical tree found in the oasis of the glass desert. Makes a great shade. Let's get to the next pod. The next pod is a hop, skip, and a jump way here. So from that last pod, you should see a little underhang area. Go ahead and boost on over to that. Carefully. And the next pod will actually be towards the right side here, next to this little mosaic slime statue. Go ahead and boost on over again. Press X to open up this pod. And you find the palm sprout, a stout palm tree whose pulp is water rich and quite sweet. Let's jump to the next pod. Get back on top of that structure now, and go ahead and fly over to this section. And you can boost past these angry slimes here. Go to the edge and you should see a little patch of pink grass. That's how you know you're going in the right direction. Now let your stamina recover all the way for this one because you're going to have to do a little bit of hopping for it. Now you're going to boost out and take a left here. So boost all the way out. Try to get a little bit of height and then boost on over to the left side here. Open up this pod. And your reward is the Coco Warp Depo. 72 gadgets that allows you to remotely transfer resources between 2 points. Now we're going to point towards the next pod. Towards the back section of the glass desert, right about here, you'll find this large ruin-looking structure. And towards the top of this one, you're going to want to climb all the way up here. So using all of your scaling abilities available, let's see here, find a good way to climb on up. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll stagger our way from this little point on over. It just takes that one stone to get up and over sometimes. Then we can continue kind of cheat stepping our way on up, and hopefully we can get to the very top using this method. And once you get to the top here, you can hopefully use that ledge to kind of cheat yourself on up to this last part, and you'll find this pod hidden next to this guy. Opening this one reveals the Thundering Glass Sculpture, a beautiful glass structure from the glass desert that resembles a lightning strike. Let's get to the next pod. Now from that pod, now that you're so high up, you should be able to fly to the next pod. So you're going to head towards the, I guess that'd be the north side, where these ring structures are. Jump as high as you can and boost on over, lazily, just kind of push and glide. And in this structure, you'll find the next pod. Go ahead and open this one on up. And you'll find the Coco Teleporter, set of 2 teleporters that can be used to create your own quick travel link. Let's get to the next pod. From that last section, go ahead and boost your way on over, back up to where that last black pod was. And then from that large ancient ruin structure. Now, just in case like me, you haven't popped the Mosaic Gordo, don't worry. Not to fear. There is a way around him. You can boost jump to this ledge over here. And then jump again. And try to lip yourself over this little edge. And you'll come out on the other side here where his path actually leads. You can keep on hopping up here. And you should see that pod in the distance. So we can go ahead and fly on towards that one now. And just lazily follow your way down. Boost a little bit so you don't fall down this huge canyon. And go ahead and open up this pod. This pod reveals the Master Pump, a pump that siphons the most resources with a very high chance for rare resources. Let's get to the next pod. Now once you're on this top section, go ahead and jump up on the rocks over here. And fly your way over to this side on this rock cliff, and you should see this little overhang where the next pod is. Go ahead and drop on down to this one, open it up, and you get the Super Hydro Turret, an advanced defensive cannon that doubles the firepower against tar. Let's get to the next pod. From the Mosaic Gordo, go ahead and take the dirt path, hug the left wall over here, keep on going, and then once you come out, keep on going. And you're going to try to fly up to this little area here if we can. Let's see if we can get it, and we did, just barely. And head on over the actual little bridge part here, and you'll find the next pod. Go ahead and open this one up. And you'll get the Berry Warp Depot, a set of 2 gadgets that allows you to remotely transfer resources between 2 points. Now, if you actually spin around, the next one is not very far. It is right across this way, and we're going to see if we can be brave and use our maximum amount of boost to get over there. Just kind of lightly glide on over. And we got it. Go ahead and open this pod up. And you get the Towering Glass Sculpture, a beautiful glass structure from the glass desert that resembles a monolith. And now, if you followed both guides and this guide all the way up until this point, thank you and congratulations, because you have found every single treasure pod in the game as of version 1.0.1. Whew. It was quite the little or large adventure depending on how much boost you had. Thank you guys so much again for joining me. And if you found this video helpful, then please leave a like. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. As we say here on the ranch, the more ranchers, the merrier. Until next time, this is your host, skylab-gaming, signing off.